Hey everybody, welcome to Super Stock Bros. My name is Ace, and today we're going to be talking about BTWN, which is Bridgetown Holdings. You won't want to miss this one. All right, so Bridgetown Holdings, what is it? Well, this is a SPAC that was created by Peter Thiel and Richard Li. These guys are billionaires. They're exceptional in what they do. Peter Thiel has been in some of the best businesses in North America quite recently, and Richard Li, based out of Hong Kong, has been basically taking over Southeast Asia very slowly but surely. The guy seems to be a genius. So let's first talk about Richard Li a little bit, because I think he's relatively unknown compared to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, if you don't know about him, please research on him. This guy's going to be affecting your entire investment career if you actually get to know him, because he's a genius. If you follow his footsteps, he'll lead you to the gold, basically. So just follow him. Palantir is a stock he IPO'd with recently, and that's taken off, and it's a source of conversation everywhere, including Reddit, which absolutely loves it. So let us talk about Richard Li. I'm going to share a little bit of info about him from Yahoo Finance over here. So this guy, he had actually a famous father, Li Ka-shing. This guy built up a business empire, and now Richard Li is building up his own business empire. I would say, I don't know how much help he received from his father, but it seems like he separated and did a lot of this himself. First, he started investing in communications, which isn't actually talked about here, but he was in the communications industry. He actually had TV channels and stuff like this, and he actually sold them off. I think he got he turned 300 million into 1 billion in 3 years or something like that. So great investment on his part, or more than that, actually. I think it was 100 million to 1 billion. But yeah, it was like a 9xer. So this guy, he teamed up with Peter Thiel because they actually recognize Southeast Asia as a point on the globe that is ripe for investment and growth. And you'll actually see that with one of the companies we're going to take a look at later. That's a merger rumor going on for Bridgetown, and this is why it's been shooting up lately. So next up, we're going to be talking about the management team. The management team is actually very good. We can actually look inside of the S1 filing. Okay, so first up is Daniel Wong. Daniel Wong is the CEO, CFO, and director of Bridgetown Holdings, and he actually is the senior vice president of Pacific Century Group. And Pacific Century Group is chaired by Richard Li, and they mostly invest in telecommunications, media, and technology. So they're experts in this realm. It's that's actually a great leader for this management team, I think. And that's actually, I suspect, why Peter Thiel teamed up with Richard Li, because they are experts in Southeast Asia, especially in probably the most profitable realms that can be invested in. So you can see where Peter Thiel's mind is going here and why he likes Richard Li so much. I mean, as for his own merits, Richard Li is incredible, as we mentioned before. Okay, next up you have Matt Den Zysen. He is the chairman of the board of directors, and he actually also is the head of private investments at Thiel Capital. Very important to Bridgetown Holdings. He actually does a lot of investments in Asia as well at Thiel Capital. So he actually has a sense of familiarity there. So that's another big thing. So as you can see, all the connections are being made here. There's a reason why they chose these particular directors and chairmen. Next up, you have Sam Altman. Sam Altman is a member of the board of directors, and he was actually president of Y Combinator. I love Y Combinator. Always is a good point of discussion because they've raised so many startups from zero to becoming something, and actually leaders in a lot of spaces. For example, Airbnb. So he was the president of Y Combinator from 2014 to 2019, and basically he would be a great advocate and mentor for any company coming in. So that's important for part of the merger, right? You got to think about those things when you're dealing with a management team that you're merging with. It's not just here you go, you're on the stock exchange now. No, you're actually dealing with these people. Hopefully you're leveraging their connections and getting some kind of mentorship if needed. And who knows better how to expand to billions of dollars than Peter Thiel and Richard Li, right? So obviously the founders are going to take their part in this management team as well, I'm sure. Okay, so that's the management team. I think it's a great team. I think it's going to be a great merger for anyone in the Southeast Asian region. Now, speaking of that, who would actually merge with Bridgetown? Well, the rumor that's been going around is Tokopedia. So Tokopedia is an interesting one. This is actually a company that was created in 2009, and they're basically the Amazon of Indonesia. So this is very interesting. Obviously, Amazon is massive over here, and I think that similar companies like this are going to be needed around the world. For example, Jumia, that's a big one, and there's a couple more that are springing up that you're going to be hearing about more and more. But basically, you need these type of companies because they saw the success of Amazon, they saw how it scaled, and they saw how it basically took over, the entire region of North America, right? So Tokopedia looks like a great emerge target, but right now it is only a rumor. But guess what? This is exactly what Thiel and Richard Li would be looking at in terms of merging, because this is Southeast Asia. This is one of the biggest leaders. They saw what happened with Amazon, and I think they're going to absolutely blow up if this happens. And that's actually why you saw Bridgetown rise from 12 to 19. So just keep that in mind. Hope it's not locked in, but we'll see. It's looking better and better, especially as we've been hearing reports of Tokopedia. First of all, they've gone for more funding. They actually got funding from Google recently, but they're also getting advisors now. This is a big step. You're getting U.S. banks to advise Morgan Stanley, Citibank for an IPO, but I don't think they're going to go for an IPO. They actually mentioned that a SPAC is not out of the question. SPAC is a potential option that we'll consider. Finally, I want to talk about any risks that are in play here. Then we're talking about Bridgetown Holdings, like I said, which is, it's rising up. It's very volatile. But the question is, how volatile is it? What is the downside here? What if, in the worst possible case, merger doesn't happen, somehow all of the money just disappears and they decide, okay, Bridgetown Holdings wasn't a great idea after all? Well, in SPACs, you have to be aware of the net asset value of the stock. So in this case, it is actually $10 per public share that is in a trust account. So in the worst possible case, you will get $10 per share. Okay, it's in a trust account. You're going to get it back. And that's the guarantee from the SPAC. Now, the only problem is $10 a share compared to the current price. We're talking about a 60% downside from $16 all the way to $10. That's a heavy risk. Would I advise investing in this? Am I going to invest in it? I think I will. I really like Peter Thiel, really like him. And if this merge actually goes through, then it's going to be, I can see at least 50% upside, quite frankly. But this is a risky one. If you have any other SPACs that you're looking at, maybe think about those ones. I actually advise, if anything, to scale in. Don't put all your money in at once. All right, so just because I like throwing in videos time to time, I'd like to refer Richard Allan's channel. I actually love the way this guy speaks. He's a very good dude, it seems like. But let's listen to his take on BTWN. He actually mentions PSTH as well, but his take on BTWN is very similar to what I was saying. And I think you'll be interested in hearing what he has to say here.
Because the deal that they were talking about merging with Tokopedia, which is a massive e-commerce business in Indonesia, valued at like $10 billion. This company's a big deal. It's like investing in early Amazon, or investing in Jumia or Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is the Latin American version of Amazon, essentially, and it's worth $80 billion already. It's had a tremendous year. Now, Jumia is like the Amazon of Africa, and they're only worth about $3 billion. So Tokopedia already has them beat by a lot, but there's so much room to run in Indonesia with this company. So I understand why people are excited about it. I get it.
Okay, Stock Bros. So that's it from me. I actually think that BTWN deserves some love. Do your DD, see if you want to invest in it. But I'm going to be getting some shares. Like I said, I'll scale in a little bit. We'll see what happens. Until next time, everyone, let's make those gains.